we need to give you the opportunity to talk about like the way that everything was affecting you and affecting you. You know, you had a relationship with Matt. We all know, you know, all the things with the Matt and Edge and all of that, but take me back like to, well, you and Matt, I mean, you gravitated together for some reason.
So I knew Matt, you know, on the Independent. I met him on an Independent show. We were, you know, we weren't, until I was in the WWE, we you know, became pretty tight. But honestly, it was the bond on the love of chasing our dream. And so that was our main bond always. Sure, we had good banter, we got along, we never argued, you know, like but I remember when I broke my neck and I was at home, you know, and he's on the road and they're doing their thing, and it was the first chance I had a chance to reflect. From the moment I decided I wanted to be a wrestler till the time I broke my neck, I didn't think about anything except what's the next baby step I can do to take forward to progress my career, to increase my chances of doing all the things I want to do. You know, because that was what I was thinking about. And I mean, as was Matt for a much longer time, you know, so it was a great thing to bond on, and it was a great creative, oh, maybe this, here, what do you think about this finish? What do you think about this gear? What do you know what I mean? That part of it was 100% fulfilling, you know? But I do remember when I broke my neck and I'm at home and everything came to a screeching halt for a second, and I had a moment to reflect on accomplishing, you know, like, whoa, you did that for a minute there, you know, because
everything's going so fast.
Yeah, and then I also had a second to realize there was anything outside of the wrestling industry, because every and all things pertain to only that. And I mean, and that's the only way people are going to be successful, is to just dive in 100%. I was forced to have to see what else was out there and just reflect and think about
because you were out. This was something that happened on a set.
Yeah, I went and did a television show I had not heard of prior to getting a phone call from talent relations being like, anyways, you'll be in Vancouver from this day to this day and shooting this show. You know, so I remember having this moment that, you know, I wasn't in an argument with Matt. We were slightly disconnected while I was at home recuperating, because he was still, you know, 100% into his career, and I was 100% out of it at that moment because I had to be. And I remember thinking, yeah, we're not going to be together when our careers are over, because that is our bond together. The way we view life, our interests, our they don't really align. You know, and
how did that feel when you figured that out?
It was so weird, because I was like, okay, but so now that I know that, should we split up? But you know, I love him and I love our time together, so no, but I can't see growing old with this person, and and it was weird. But I think that's like, it's okay. You can have awesome, great chapters and learn from people, and knowing that they're not here forever, and they may be 2 months from now or 2 years from now, and that's okay. But, and I say that now, I didn't know that then. I was like, oh, what do I do with this information that I just came to?
It's hard when you're in that to figure it out. I know. Yeah, and
I think I was like, anyways, I'm going to watch another marathon on HGTV and be depressed and eat Little Debbie's in my neck brace. Think about that. But so when Adam and I started to bond on such a deeper level, as well as having the creative outlet with our careers and stuff, it was, and I know both of us, we were kind of like, oh shit, you know, like once we started to realized we were more than just two bros just hanging out, you know, and so the hard thing that has always been with this time period is, you know, we realized we were going down a path that we shouldn't, and what I mean by that is mentally.
Yeah.
Mentally. And so we'd kissed finally and freaked out. And we're like, you know what? I was like, and around that same time I tore my ACL. It was a pay-per-view with Trish. And I was going to be away. And so, you know, he was like, you know, like it was, Matt was off the road, Adam was on the road, and I said, hey, you know what? Let's take this as an opportunity. We need to just be in our own worlds and evaluate, and don't do anything because, you know, like, don't do anything for me. I'm not going to do anything for you. I need to figure out what is right for my world.
Yeah.
You need to figure out what's right for your world. If we meet up on the other side, cool. If not, I support and respect whatever your decisions are.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, that sounds like the mature adult thing to do.
Right.
He left a message on my cell phone, that pretty much just spelled out everything, you know, and his feelings for me and his intentions and what he wanted to do and everything. And but I didn't know that. I had my phone, you know, this was at a time where we weren't as glued to our cell phones. And, you know, I was coming home, you know, my knee was hurt. I was coming home. I turned off my phone, and I was ready to just kind of check out, just from wrestling, from anything, and just kind of take it in.
Yeah.
And Matt was just feeling, he's like, something's not right, you know.
Yeah. Oh boy, can you tell?
Yeah.
Right? You just know.
Yeah. And so I was asleep, and he went and checked my cell phone, and there's that message from Adam, and it was not like, oh, he was just worried about my knee, whatever. I was just like, and I just looked at him, and I just said, I'm sorry. And I took my keys, and I got in my car, and it was 6 o'clock in the morning or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And I just started driving, and it wasn't until about an hour. I didn't even know. You know, I didn't have any GPS turned on. I didn't know. I just was like about an hour into just driving, and I was like, I guess I'm going to go to my mom's, you know? Yeah. And then, and so I called. I was like, hey, I'm on my way. I don't really know. I'll be there at some point today. You know, it was like, I don't even know what direction I'm headed, because I was just like, you know.
What's going through your mind at that time? What was going through?
It was like a hypnotized, numb, like,
yeah,
you know, stop at red lights, look at the speed limit, because it was just like, yeah, and
like it all hit, it all culminated at that moment.
Yeah, and it was just chaos. And Adam's wife, she would call me every 5 minutes and just yell, and I would pick up the phone every time, and I would just sit there and I'd say, I'm sorry, you know, and she'd be like, and then this and this and that, and you know, and then like, but
and you understand her side,
right? Obviously. I mean, of course, she was saying terrible things, accusing me of things that I did not do, but I was just, I understood that of course she's devastated, you know. So I was just like, I'm sorry, you know. And then wait, she'd do it again, and I'd be like, yeah, you can yell at me, you know what I mean? And I just again, and I would just, and as tumultuous as that was, like, and like, not you, and not Trish, but for the most part, like, every woman in that locker room judged me. Every of the other wrestlers' wives, the boys, judged me, and but as like shameful, like, as they acted towards me, I was punishing myself even worse. You know, I was like, you're terrible, you know, like, how could you, like, do this to everyone involved, you know, like. And so I just felt like I deserved everything I got and more, you know, because I just felt so bad about it.
And I remember pulling you on the side, and I get emotional too, because I remember that moment, and I remember pulling you on the side and just telling you, like, nobody should be judging anybody. Oh my God, we've all done things in our lives, you know. And but I remember I saw you beating yourself up to no end, and I was like,
and I remember too. I was so skinny. And I remember everybody was like, "Oh my God, you look so good." And I was like, "Yeah, I have ulcers. I don't eat.
yeah,
I don't sleep.
right,
So, but I was like, cool, thanks."
yeah,
So it was just rough, and as bad as it was, you know, Adam and I tried to do this like half in, half out thing, you know, because we always said we didn't regret our bond, we regret how we went about it. Mm-hmm. You know? So, but we tried to, because he as well felt so bad, so we're like, we don't want to put it in anybody's face, we don't, you know,
right.
They're both, like, everybody's hurting so bad, we don't want to, so, you know, I didn't have anybody to weather the storm with, and, so it was like, you know, we tried, we had some great time, we had some great moments, but like ultimately it was too tainted going in on the front end to be able to sustain, really.
Yeah.
You know, and so and it took just like so long to gain, like, to be comfortable and okay with everything.
Yeah.
And our whole thing, Adam and I, like, our whole thing always had been like, well, I don't want to say anything, and I'm not going to talk about it because I can actually deny about 80% of the recount and how it went about, and what our actual level of involvement was. Mm-hmm. But I can't deny 100% of it, so I'm just going to shut up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And yeah, and ultimately we were in the wrong, so whatever punishment I get, whatever happens, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How was that for you when it got turned into a storyline? When you were out there with him, and then Matt, you know,
it was like everything I could do to get on the plane to come to work. And honestly, again, I was like, part of like punishing myself was like, you know, the office came to Adam and I and said, well, I mean, so Matt ultimately got fired for being unprofessional. But then because it became such a hot story,
yeah,
they said, we want to turn this into a story, but you guys have been professional. He hasn't. There is money involved in this storyline, but it's your call. You know, we're like, well, we felt terrible that he lost his job over it, so we're like, yeah, we made our bed, we'll lie in it. And, mm-hmm. you know, and so basically it was like, so that he could have a job, I came to work and did that story, and
how was it, Faith? When's the first encounter that you had to get? Because you had to talk to him.
I think there was like sometime early on, there was a Bite This episode, like that. It was like an early internet show that the WWE did, and they're like, we just want it to be real, and I was like, you don't, because that's me crying and saying sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make, you know, like
right.
it and also Adam feeling really bad and saying sorry, so that you don't want it to be real. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so I just remember sitting there just like my jaw clenched so tight because, you know, that whole thing, it's just like I wanted to cry, scream, curse, and walk out at all times.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, finally graduating from that story and getting to have fun with, as like the rated R couple, and doing all the ridiculous things that we did, but it's like, then I could get into like a character version of this thing, because it just didn't feel like a character, it felt like
real.
Yeah, it felt way too real, but not in a way of like, okay, whatever. So there's this portion of this that's real being acted out and expressed in a completely different way than I actually feel. Mm-hmm. So yeah. It was, it was very hard to come to work.